The sixth issue is water, sanitation, and hygiene in schools. One of the most devastating effects of climate change, especially in arid, drought-prone areas, is the threat to water security. Water is becoming scarcer, and we need to make sure that our water sources, our water supplies are secure. In arid, dry, drought-prone areas, this is a key issue. How do we keep the little water that's available safe and secure? Because water, sanitation, and hygiene go together. Water is not just for drinking. Water also is used in washrooms. Water is also used to keep the school buildings clean. And so, without water, what would we do? Or with a minimum supply of water, what do we do? How do we keep that water safe and secure is essential. As drought and desertification become more serious, water and sanitation emerge as staple issues within environmental-friendly schools. As the dryness and the desertification, as we cut more trees out without planting anymore because we need land for farming, or we need land for housing, or we need land for infrastructure, roads development and all that, this problem will become more and more serious. And so looking at water and sanitation issues, there's no sense having a washroom if it's not clean. There's no sense having a washroom that is clogged, that is blocked, that can't be properly used. And so how do we deal with issues like that? We need water. So addressing this issue as a staple component of environment-friendly schools and environment education, we must do whatever it takes to protect our water supplies, keep it safe for drinking and other domestic use. The most successful examples combine physical improvements with life skills-based hygiene education and follow a gender-sensitive approach. Now, when you're doing hygiene education, you need to be gender-sensitive. Boys have to be dealt differently, and girls have to be dealt differently. You cannot deal them together. Hygiene requirements for boys tend to be slightly different versus the hygiene requirement for girls. And therefore, you need to have both men and women teachers trained in how to address these issues with young men and women, young boys and girls. Hygiene education must start from an early age. You cannot start it in high school. It's too late because your hygiene habits are already set. So from a young age, from the youngest child that comes to school, teachers need to be educated about hygiene education. And whether they are girls, they need to be with female teachers. Whether they're boys, they need to be with male teachers. You cannot have a mixed gender class where you talk about hygiene, at least not in our part of the world. And so, trying to focus on those things with water made safe, hygiene is the next thing that comes in. And after that would be sanitation. And so, all three are equally important. You cannot put more emphasis on one or two and ignore the others because that is not going to help. So, making sure that the water supplies are safe and secure, making sure that hygiene education has been provided, and then making sure that you talk about sanitation. Sanitation is keeping washrooms clean, keeping washrooms disinfected, keeping school grounds clean, keeping the classrooms clean, and those kinds of things then would come under sanitation. Qualitative evidence in Malawi, for example, shows that when girls have access to soap and private sanitation facilities at school, attendance rates increase and dropouts rates reduce. What a wonderful way to keep children in school. If you have proper sanitation, simple thing, there is water, put in soap. Soap is important, and so for hygiene and sanitation purposes, you need to provide these items that are required. They may be accessories, but they are needed. Without that, it's not going to work, it's not going to help. And so, what children learn about hygiene and sanitation in school, imagine when they take this out back to their homes. Now, the homes are becoming more hygienic, more sanitized, safer, cleaner to live, stay, survive. And that is what good learning is all about. You are now applying what you learned in school to your homes. You are now applying what you learned in school with other members of your family. You are teaching them how to make sure that water is safe and secure, what hygiene is all about, and why sanitation is absolutely critical, and how the three go together.